It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop, and his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Marching line, hey, hey.
Since the crack of dawn, just trying to get paid. Been hotter than 100 suns. I can't find no shade. Just 2 more rows and I'm good to go. Yeah, I'm shutting this tractor down. Give me a half an hour for a shave and a shower, and I'll be outside your house. Might have a little dirt on my boots, but I'm taking you uptown tonight. Might have a little mud on my wheels, but they gonna shine with you up inside. Gonna hit the club, gonna cut a rug, burn it up like neon lights. Might have a little dirt on my boots, but we're gonna dance the dust right off them tonight. Got a little dirt on my boots. Hard as I worked all day, I'm gonna work harder loving on you. Spin you all over that dance floor, right out of them high heel shoes. And when you're ready to quit, baby, we can slip right out of that barroom door. And when I take you home, don't worry, babe, I'm gonna kick them off on the porch. Might have a little dirt on my boots, but I'm taking you uptown tonight. Might have a little mud on my wheels, but they gonna shine with you up inside. Gonna hit the club, gonna cut a rug, burn it up like neon lights. Might have a little dirt on my boots, but we're gonna
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ultimate Dirt TV and to the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Tonight, it is week number 13. It is charity week, and it is night number 5 of the Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week here tonight from the newly Kern County Raceway Park here as we get ready to see 100 laps of modified action. 358 and big block modifieds all in the one server, and a field of 17 drivers. A little different to what we're used to seeing, where we have no heat races, where we have no qualifying heat races. Well, flip the script tonight because we are going qualifying and there will be no heat races. So it'll be qualifying to line up your order for the A main, and straight into a 100 lap main event. Let's get set to take a look at some of the cars on the racetrack. And well, it's time we go qualifying here at the newly Kern County Raceway Park. Joseph Grady. Now, apologies for trading pace because I've tried this several times. Trading pace does not like to work apparently since the update. So Joseph Grady on screen. We'll see those times coming through here in just a moment. There they are. Joseph Grady with a 14.587. A 14.587. Brandon Templeton, quick time with a 14.570. Brian Dickens on the racetrack. 6 quick for Brian Dickens with a 14.696 on lap number 1. These drivers have 2 laps. Quick up for Brian Dickens as he goes second. Quick, GJ Boydell. 11th quick. There is Blake Chapman on screen. You know what? Let's go with it anyway. Blake Chapman looking to roll for the first qualifying lap with a 14. It'll go about 5th quick there with a 14.645. Make that 662. A 14.662. And we've still got Colin Johnston and Cody Graham to lay down a qualifying time. Chapman will go quick on lap 2. He'll go 4th quick as Cody Graham in car number 2. Cody Graham in car number 2. 16th quick with a 14.944. A 14.944. See if we can improve on that second lap. Qualifying about to wrap up here at the Kern County Raceway Park. A 14.895, and that will be all for the 17 drivers that have taken a time. Let's take a look at your official results. There it is. Brandon Templeton, quick time with a 14.570. Brian Dickens, Joseph Grady, Blake Chapman, and Joseph Musso. That'll be your top 5. Let's take a look at your starting lineup. Who knows if this is going to work correctly? It does. Brandon Templeton lines up on the pole position to the outside of the front row. The 122 of Brian Dickens from position number 2. Starting from position number 3 with the 518 of Joseph Grady. The 20 of Blake Chapman out of position number 4. Position number 5 with the 63 car of Joseph Musso to the outside. Scott Rayome lines up the 444 from position number 6. Starting from position number 7 with the 9 car, Brian Lawson. From 8 it's the 61 of Jacob Musso. We go back to the 5th row inside, driving the 790 entry. That is Dean Reynolds to the outside. The 218 of Kurt Schatzer from 10. From 11, it'll be the 5 car of John Krupa to the outside. The 007 of Michael Vecchio from 12. GJ Boydell in the 14 starts position number 13. Blake Chapman the 72 from 14. 15th with the 2 car of Cody Graham for the 513 of Jeffrey Barker from 16. And then from 17th in your final starter on the car number 13, that is Cullen Johnston. So we get ready for straight into feature race action here at the Kern County Raceway Park. 100 laps on the board. The tyre wear is going to be a huge factor in this one. Let's see how it all unfolds here for the modifieds. First visit to the Kern County Raceway Park. 100 laps on the board. It's night number 5 of the Abandoned Cat Rescues Charity Week with the Coast to Coast Racing League. And we are green. And Dickens is going to lead down the back straight away. Templeton runs in second position. Then they go back to the 13 car. Oh, Blake Chapman, or the 20 car of Chapman, I should say, as they work through turn number 1 and 2. Lap number 1 belonged to Brian Dickens. Chapman looking to the outside now, right through the middle of the racetrack, through turn number 3 and 4. Templeton slips back to position number 3. Chapman showing in the car number 5 machine. Now again, apologies with this one because they're not going to be correct. I've uninstalled, reinstalled trading paints. I'm going to say it's an iRacing issue right now, as Blake Chapman will lead on his lap number 3. Dickens goes back to position back to number 2. Templeton back in 3rd. Then you go back to Joseph Graney showing in that car number 2 machine. And you go back to Joseph Musso in car 63, followed by Jacob Musso right behind him as they work down into 1 and 2. Challenges on for 2nd and 3rd with Templeton and Dickens. And again, Dickens to the middle of the racetrack. Again, first visit to the Kern County Raceway Park. And we are 5 into the books here at this 100 lap A main event, night 5 of the Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week. Chapman still leads the way. Drifting up a little higher there. On screen right there is Scott Rayome in that, well, showing in the 218 machine. Jacob Musso in the all-white entry. He's now looking to the outside of Joseph Musso down through turns 3 and 4. So it's the Musso battle going on right now for 5th and 6th position. Joseph on the inside, Jacob on the outside. Jacob's got it down the back straight away. We've just completed the 8th lap, still 92 laps left to run. Plenty of time here for these drivers to get themselves sorted out. I'm watching on screen in the 014. It's normally the GJ Boydell entry, but that is Kurt Schatzer. Schatzer trying to get by Dean Reynolds, showing him in car 13, not the 790 machine. That's Zach Chapman. Again, there's only so many times that we can try and uninstall or reinstall trading paints, but right now, oh boy, problems there for Scott Rayome. He lost all sorts of speed right in the middle of turn number 1 and 2. Joseph Grandy just in front of him, just outside the top 5. Blake Chapman still leads the way by 6/10 of a second over Brian Dickens in 2nd position. Brandon Templeton 3rd. I'm going to say everybody playing nice at the moment in the opening 10, what will be 12 laps of competition here at the Kern County Raceway Park. Schatzer right in the middle of Dean Reynolds and Zach Chapman. Schatzer still trying to get by Dean Reynolds there for the 9th position. Reynolds drifts up a little in turn number 3, off for turn number 4. They're wheel to wheel. Boy, what a battle this is right now for 9th and 10th position. Then you got Zach Chapman in 11th, driving that 790 machine. Again, normally you see that's the Dean Reynolds machine. We are yellow first time tonight. Maybe Cody Graham? Yeah, it is Cody Graham. Just getting a little helping hand there from Cullen Johnston in car number 13, bringing on the cautions for the first time tonight. And now caution laps do count, by the way. Oh, excuse me. So again, first caution of the evening. Now, I was listening to the driver's briefing happening earlier on. With caution laps counting, they were allowing, again, different league rules. These are the Charity Week rules. So we drop the strictness and we allow these drivers to have a bit of fun. If you want to race with the Coast to Coast Racing League, you can check them out on the web at c2crl.com. 22 divisions, 13 broadcasted, I believe it is, or 23 divisions and 12 broadcasted. There's quite a few that have been broadcasted from Sunday all the way through to Thursday night. Green flag is back out here on the raceway. And again, Chapman leading down the back straight away. 20 down, 80 to run. While they spread themselves out and try and find a bit of rhythm once again here at the Kern County Raceway Park. Again, our very, very first visit to this racetrack. Looks to the outside, goes Kurt Schatzer, I believe it is. It is Kurt Schatzer. To the inside, Joseph Musso. He's got GJ Boydell. Jeffrey Barker right there with him. So Barker showing the correct car. And there'll be a 2 or 3 drivers that are showing their correct car. But again, I do apologise. But I can only do what Trading Paints has given me and what they've offered. Joseph Granny piloting the number 2 machine. Painted up livery. Now cuts it down to the bottom on the exit of turn number 4. Couple of laps away from being quarter race distance. Night 5 of the Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week. 358 and Big Block Modifieds on the program right now on the racetrack. And then later, I believe it is going to be Pro Late Models. Chapman still leads the way. So it's official already. 1 quarter, 25 down, 75 laps left to run. Yes, you see that right. This was a 100-lap main event. Go back and watch right now. Scott Rayome showing car number 24, 218. There's the 56 machine. That has been piloted there by Michael Vecchio. Now it's a good-looking colour. It's a good-looking number. He's got all the right ingredients to go fast. Jeffrey Barker driving the 513. Joseph Musso in the 63. Those drivers right there are sitting positions number 9 and 10 on the racetrack. Good boy Barker got a little tight there in the middle of turn number 1 and 2. Musso had to check up to not get into the back of the 513 entry. Oh, Barker. Meanwhile, here comes Brandon Templeton now down to the inside there on Brian Dickens down through turn number 1. Off for turn number 2. Brian Dickens, he's got the run down the back straightaway. Here comes Jacob Musso in that all-white entry. Drives the number 61 machine. And then Joseph Grandy in that number 2 machine. Again, this is certainly throwing a loop. Rolling, it's a Trading Paint issue. I've downloaded, reinstalled it. I've run it as administrator. I've tried refreshing it a couple of times. It still doesn't work, unfortunately. And there's only so many times that we can try do it. So we're just going to have to make do with what we have got right now. Actually, I have an idea. As yellow is out, see if I do this, it's just going to show. So it shows Jacob Musso in the correct car. Brandon Templeton in the 5 machine. So unfortunately, alright, let's try it again. We can try it one more time, folks. So yellow is out. Blake Chapman leads the way. So again, yellow laps counting here at the raceway. Cody Graham 5 laps down, so it's pretty much the end of his night. So safety car will take a right-hand turn into turn number 1. In fact, just before they get to turn 1, just on the end of the front straightaway. So I'll keep an eye on the training paints issue again. I'll just try and keep refreshing. But for now, we're going to go with what we're being given. 63 laps left to run as we go back to racing here at the Kern County Raceway Park. Templeton and Dickens. Dickens has got the advantage down the back straightaway now. Dickens coming up to Blake Chapman down into turn number 3 and 4. I thought your battle was going to be on for the race lead, but Blake Chapman still holds firm right there to the bottom side. Sliding through to the middle on the exit of turn number 2, so running a mini slider line. 4 different iRacing configurations here. Don't forget, we're really keen to see that inside of the racetrack go. And how that'll play later as the racetrack gets a little older. And drivers start to get used to it just a little bit more. But for now, we continue on. 40 down, 60 to go. 10 laps away from half race distance. Meanwhile, Joseph Grandy, Jacob Musso, Grandy in the 518. Musso, there it is. So now we're starting to see some car numbers be the proper drivers and be the proper paint schemes, I should say. Here comes Templeton. Templeton in the 5, Jacob Musso in the 61 machine. Says all files are up to date. Unfortunately, they're not, because Brandon Templeton showing him in car number 5. Brian Dickens in the 122. Scott Rayome there. In fact, that's Brian Lawson. That's the Scott Rayome paint scheme. Schatzer, then GJ Boydell. There's Zach Chapman. So Chapman's is right. There's Joseph Musso. Jeffrey Barker in the 513. Dean Reynolds and Scott Rayome there as they work side by side for about positions number 12 and 13. Oh, yellow is out. So caution flag waves, I think, for what is the 3rd time tonight. And again, we'll get ready to go back green here in just a few moments' time. Alright, so let's try it again. Lights are out. We're back to green. They work down into turn number 1 and 2. Already I can tell it's not working because Joseph Grandy showing in the 014 machine. Well, this could be the only time. Dean Reynolds is up front. I kid. Dean Reynolds. But that's Blake Chapman out in front. Brian Dickens in the 122 machine back there in 2nd position. Grandy to the outside. Down into turns 3 off for turn number 4. Templeton works low in the 31. Then you go back to Kurt Schatzer now. Oh boy, problems at the halfway point right now as they come out of turn 4. 50 down, 50 to go. And Blake Chapman continuing to lead the way right there from Brian Dickens in the 122. Driving this, well, again, the 3rd place car in the 014 entry. That is Joseph Grandy. It is not GJ Boydell. It is Joseph Grandy. Templeton in the 31 machine. Schatzer. Again, you can see that 518 machine. We know that's the Joseph Grandy livery. The 63 car, that is normally Joseph Musso, but that's been driven right there by Brian Lawson. Meanwhile, again, challenges on for 2nd and 3rd. Oh, Templeton! Oh, they keep it going. That could have got very ugly. Schatzer and Templeton. Boy, very lucky to escape that one. Lawson closing in right now. There is GJ Boydell once again. Oh, there you go. Templeton showing the right scheme. But there's only a select few of drivers that are showing the right one. So again, apologies, but this is out of my control, folks. So, oh no, look out, Joseph Musso in the 63, the first car to climb the wall and nearly climb up on top of the catch fence. Zach Chapman in the 5, right through the middle of the raceway. There is Musso in that 63 car. So again, just a handful of drivers working. There is Dean Reynolds. No problems there for Colin Johnson. He'll go back to the pits. Rear end busted on that number 13 machine. Wonder if we can try it again. How many times do you reckon we can try this before it works? If it works at all. Because I'm guessing none. So Blake Chapman in car number 20. Out in front. Alright, lights are out, safety car is in. Getting ready to go back around. That's it, I've given up trying. I've given up trying. Car numbers, paint schemes don't work. Apparently, thank you. 41 laps to go. 59 has been completed. Chapman leads the way from Brian Dickens in the 122 machine. Now look to the outside. Brandon Templeton, Joseph Grandy, they go side by side. Off turn number 4. Third of line is going to be Grandy, but boy, no. There goes Brandon Templeton. Contact there as that was Scott Rayome coming through. Look at this. 2 wide, 2. Oh boy, problems. Problems on the front straightaway. Dean Reynolds and Jacob Musso, 2 drivers involved in that one. We go yellow. And again, with the caution laps counting, what that means is that we don't go back to the last recorded lap. It freezes. So whenever the yellow comes out, it freezes the lap counter. It freezes your positions on where you are on the racetrack. So don't forget, still, I think we've still got Pro Late Models on the program for tonight. But we've got to get through these final 35 laps of competition. Yes, Pro Late Models here at the Kern County Raceway Park. Again, the newest track to drop here on the sim. So located in Bakersfield, California. 0.33 of a mile, 0.33 miles. Back to green. And it's still Chapman leading the way right now from Brian Dickens in second position. There's a battle between Kurt Chatzer and Joseph Greeny. 3 wide down into turn number 1 and 2 for 4th, 5th and 6th position, although they spread themselves out. Here comes Zach Chapman out to the inside. Zach Chapman in car number 72. He's got the Scooby-Doo looking machine. Then you go back to Joseph Musso. Again, they continue to tick laps off here at the Kern County Raceway Park. Night number 5 of the Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week. Grandy just caught the wall there on the front straightaway. Chapman, that's Zach Chapman throwing it deep into turn number 1 there on Brian Lawson. Again, driving that pink 444 machine. Again, that's not the car he would normally drive, but again, the trading paint issue means that, well, I can't do anything about that one. I've restarted it, downloaded it, reinstalled, uninstalled. I've done everything possible to make this work. Grandy goes down to the inside there on Dickens, but Dickens holding strong on the top side of the racetrack, although Grandy's starting to close in. Now Kurt Schatzer generally drives the 218 machine. Schatzer looking to close in here on a podium position. Blake Chapman continuing to lead the way. Here in your feature event, we are inside of 30 laps left to run. And again, when do these boys, when do they pull the trigger on starting just to put a little bit more throttle input to start burning those tyres up that are already going to be burnt up? Who has saved the most tyres here at the Kern County Raceway Park? There's a top, there's a bottom, and it's an oval track right now as we watch Granny still trying to get by Brian Dickens for that second and third spot on the racetrack. Schatzer, here he comes to the outside and to the top side into turn number 3 and 4 he goes. Schatzer cannot complete the pass there on Joseph Grandy. Grandy goes right through the middle. Schatzer, and now here comes GJ Boydell. Boydell in the 63 car on screen. Now to the right, now coming back in the screen was Boydell. Just as we come to 25 to go, yellow is out. Just quickly, just going to try something. 1 minute. Yeah, no, I don't think it worked. Sorry, just trying to do something different. Just trying to get these things happen. So again, getting a wave around the pace car. I believe that'll be Scott Rayome. So he will get a lap back. Again, Charity Week rules apply. They do this on the asphalt side of things, so allowing it to do it here. So it looks like we're starting to see some of the numbers and some of the cars, but it looks like it's not going to take full effect. Here we go, 22 laps left to run. And we're back to green this time. Grandy's got the run down into turn number 1 and 2 on Dickens. Dickens, can he fight back? He looks outside, inside. No, he goes back to the top side, down into 3 and 4. Chapman still leads the race. All problems for the 20 machine. I think that is John Cooper going backwards there. And Joseph Musso down to the inside was Grandy on Chapman, but we go yellow. So still pro late models to come here. An exact same format of what we're just seeing here tonight. We'll get in there. They'll have some practice laps. Then of course we will jump into what will be the end of the practice session. Then it'll go qualifying. There'll be 5 minutes, 2 laps, and then a 100 lap feature event here from the Kern County Raceway Park. And again, who will take out the modified portion of this charity week of night number 5, the Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week, presented by the Coast to Coast Racing League and Coast to Coast Racing Network. Again, summer season week number 13. Next week will be week number 1, back in action for the new season. Catch all the action right and live across the Coast to Coast Racing Network. And all barring next week, you can catch it all on Ultimate Dirt TV. I got a new baby girl coming next week. Good to be on the weekend, actually. Here we go, back underway. 17 remaining, and Joseph Grandy got an absolute blinder of a start. Sliding up was Chapman. Grandy comes back down to the inside. It's side by side for the race lead. Chapman now cuts. He shut the door down into turn number 3. Really used up Joseph Grandy there to get back to the race lead. Chapman Now back in the number 1 position. Grandy driving the 218. Shatter in the 218. Well, you flip them. You flip the scripts on the paint schemes. Shatter is driving the 518 and Grandy is driving the 218. Boy, that is a kerfuffle right there. That is a bit of a mind boggle there. As we come to 14 laps to go. Brian Dickens, Brian Lawson as well. Looking to make some moves. Your 2 biggest movers through this field right now. Kurt Schatzer from 10th to position number 3, and just you go back to Jeffrey Barker from 16th to position number 10. 13 laps left to run here in the main event of the Big Block Modifieds and 358 Modifieds here at the Kern County Raceway Park. Night 5 of your Abandoned Cat Charity Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week, I should say. I'll eventually spit that one out. Brian Lawson has got some company. Jacob Musso and Lawson in the 007. Musso in that pink 444 machine. We're a lap away right now from 10 laps left to run. Chapman has still got it. That is Blake Chapman in car number 20 out in front. He's got it by now just under half a second. And here comes Grady. Grady looking to be he's looking a little faster right now. They're just there, just through the middle of turn number 1 and 2. Blake Chapman, he looks to get the run on the exit off the turns. Can Grady close in? Boy, it looks like he's starting to close in ever so slightly. And again, closes into about 3/10 of a second. Chapman, boy, can he hold on for a victory here at the Kern County Raceway Park? 1 car pulling infield. I believe that's John Karupa, or maybe in fact Brandon Templeton. And the yellows will come on because he is stopped on the raceway. In fact, I don't think it was Templeton. There might have been someone else. But that will leave us with about 4 or 5 laps left to run. So Templeton goes back to the pits. Tough break for Brandon Templeton. So Joseph Grady on screen. Blake Chapman in what is car number 13 on the raceway. Four laps to go once we go back to green. They'll get the 1 to green signal right now. So again, the first part of Charity Week and what is night number 5. Back underway, 4 to go. Who will be crowned the modified champion for Charity Week for night number 5 of the Abandoned Cat Rescues? 3 to go. And Blake Chapman, boy, since he's gotten to the front, he's been one hard man to track down in that number 13 machine. Grady looks to get the run. He closes in by a car. It's half a car length between the pair. Dickens and Musso, they battle it out for 4th and 5th position, but 2 to run, and your battle is on for the race lead. Blake Chapman, Joseph Grady looking to get to the outside. Grady's got it. Oh, we go overtime racing. I think Joseph Grady was going to win that one. Oh, only time will tell. And we will go to a green-white checker. Zach Chapman, the man that stopped on the entry down into turn number 1, facing the wrong way. Grady just got to the outside just as the yellows come on. And Blake Chapman, well, thanking his lucky stars right now. And Blake Chapman, it all comes down to the restart. They are 2 to green at the moment. So which driver can Joseph Grandy, Blake Chapman, which one of these drivers on the front row? You would think that one of these two drivers will be the drivers to visit victory lane for the first time here at the Kern County Raceway Park. Lights are out. Safety car is off the racetrack. Grandy and Chapman, we go green, and Blake Chapman got a good start. Grandy, and now here comes Schatzer down to the inside. Again, this is a green-white checker situation. Jacob Musso to the outside there on Schatzer. We come to the white flag. 1 lap left to go. Chapman, can he hold on? Grandy looks up top into turn number 1 and 2, but Blake Chapman is going to have it down the back straightaway for the final time down into turn number 3 off for turn number 4. Checkered flag waves, and it will be Blake Chapman getting the win. Second to go to Joseph Grandy, third at the line. Let's take a look at your results. Third of the line was Kurt Schatzer. Your full field rundown. Blake Chapman gets the win over Joseph Grandy. Kurt Schatzer home in third. Brian Lawson fourth. Fifth will go to Jacob Musso. Sixth is Brian Dickens. Dean Reynolds seventh. Scott Rayome eighth. Jeffrey Barker in ninth. GJ Boydell to round out your top 10. Then over the page we go. John Cooper in 11th. Colin Johnston in 12th. 13th is Zach Chapman. 14th, Brandon Templeton. Joseph Musso in 15th. And Michael Vecchio in 16th. And Cody Graham in position number 17th. We've got now a runner-up, and we've got our winner. We're just waiting for the driver to come home and finish in the third spot, make his way into the room. And once he is in there, we will go trackside. And there he is. So let's chat to the man that comes home. First off, in third place tonight, it's the 218 machine of Kurt Schatzer. Kurt, congratulations on third place. And well, my first visit to the Kern County Raceway Park. How did you feel here tonight?
Oh, I like the track a lot, man. It's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of different grooves to it. I mean, the hooker and run the bottom, or keep momentum up and run high. About lap 80, it got, I think, rubber. I started feeling rubber, and it locked down. It got real quick there. But I was just kind of worried about tires at that point, so I didn't get a good qualifying spot, so I had to start kind of pretty deep in the field there. So I was just trying to manage the tires about the first half of the race. And then just started trying to make my moves up towards the front there and keep it clean.
Right, we had a yellow there just as the boys were coming to the white flag, which resulted in a green-white checker. What goes through your mind when you're the car on the second row to try and get the jump on the rest of the field? What goes through your mind there on that final green-white checker?
It's pretty sketchy there, starting on the inside of that second row, and I knew Grandy was itching to try to make a move on Blake there, so I was kind of worried that they might have got together and I could have got caught up in it. So I was just trying to maintain. I was just kind of worried about my tires. Templeton there, my teammate, he mentioned he had a flat there early on in the race, and yeah, I was just kind of worried that towards the end there I was just going to lose the handle of the car and it was just going to go around on me, but it hung on there. I think I was 60-some% for right rear, so I mean that's pretty good. I'm happy with the podium finish there, but good night.
Well, we're not done with just yet. We'll load the modifieds back in the hall, and we'll bring the Pro Late models out. Have you ran any laps in a Pro Late model yet around this track?
Nah, this will be the first laps in the Pro Late model around the track there, but the late models are my favorite ones on the sim there, so I look forward to any chance to get to run with them. So, yeah, I got to thank Jay with Dirt Track Bank and everything they do to help racers all around the country. Got Your Six Racing Network, the boys there on the Hammer Down Racing. We all made it out there. Brian and Brandon and Joe there. Well, Joe was missing tonight, but it was nice to see Dickens out there and get a good run there. Battle with him for a little bit up front there. Just unfortunate Templeton had a little bit of a rough night there, but hopefully he can turn his luck around and get a good run in the late models.
Kurt, well done on third place. We'll see you back in the Pro Late models very shortly.
Thank you, sir.
There we go. Kurt Schatzer home in third place. Home in second spot tonight is the 518 car of Joseph Grandy. Joseph, congratulations on the runner-up finish here tonight. Boy, I tell you what, you really made that one exciting, especially towards the back end of that one, but probably a green-white checker that you didn't want to see.
Yeah, that's racing though, but super fun track, super fun race. I'm happy with a second.
100 laps, what was your game plan? Because we know over these long runs with the tyre where the game plan is to save those tyres for probably the first 3 quarters of that race. What was your mentality coming into tonight?
I was just pacing around for probably 2/3 of the race. I finished with 70% tire on my right rear, so I thought I conserved it pretty well. That's why I was able to get the jump on him a little bit, but just not enough to get around him.
It took us what was going through your mind there on that final green-white check, because you almost looked like you had the start on him, but then he didn't go, and then he just waited for the right time just to catch you napping.
Yeah, it happened. I had a good jump on him one start, but then he kind of slid up in front of me and then took my lane away from me in the bottom, and then timed the other restart pretty good. It's the last one. He got me good, and he was able to hold on.
We're going to see you load up the Pro Late Model here in a moment.
What was that? Sorry.
I said, are we going to see you load up the Pro Late Model here and bring the Pro Late Model out?
Yeah, I think I got time for enough for the race. I'll tear it up.
All right. Well, look, Joseph, well done on second place. Before we let you go, of course, sponsors on this race car, people behind the scenes who gets this done for you.
I'd like to thank Catalytic Recovery, West End Towing and Repair, all the guys over at Inferno Motorsports, my girlfriend Olivia for letting me do this every night. Appreciate you for doing the broadcast. Appreciate Coast to Coast for the league and what they do every day.
Joseph Grady home in second spot, and your winner here tonight, piloting car number 20, that is Blake Chapman. Blake, congratulations on the victory here tonight at the Kern County Raceway Park. And well, that was an interesting 100-lap affair.
Yeah, I only run these things once since the new updates come out, so I was just coming out here tonight to see if I enjoyed these things enough to run them this season. And I mean, that was a lot of fun. Can't say I had much of a strategy coming in. I knew I'd had to save tires somewhat, but I didn't know how much I needed to save, so I was just kind of running it and keeping pace, and yeah, it felt pretty good out there.
Lap times, you started off, so your quickest lap time was a 14.624. Your final lap was a 15.192. We're only looking at half a second difference between your quickest lap time and the last lap time. Does that just go to show you, like, was the track starting to take rubber, or did it take rubber there at the end?
Yeah, Kurt asked me the same thing. I mean, it could have, but I was just trying to hold on to it at the end. I think I had a little less than 50% left in my tires, so I was more worried about that, but it was definitely pretty locked down there in that middle bottom area.
Did you just say 50% on the right rear tires?
Yeah.
Kurt told me he had 60. Joseph said he had 70. Man, you must have been using up your tires a hell of a lot more than what those guys were doing. Could you feel that your tires were starting to go away?
Yeah, I definitely couldn't. At the end, it was one of the restarts. I went, and then Joseph went, and he was like right up beside me, coming into 1. Even though I got the jump on him initially coming out of 4, and I'm like, oh boy, these tires are pretty far gone, and I didn't think I'd be able to hold on to it, but got cautions when I needed them, and got pretty lucky.
Blake, congratulations on the victory here at the Kern County Raceway Park for what is night number 5 of the Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week. Modified's done here at the Kern County Raceway Park. Blake, before we let you go, of course, I'll let you thank everybody involved on this number 20 machine.
Yeah, I gotta first thank my parents and grandparents for watching and supporting, all the guys out of the Kite Sim racing team and the kart racing team. I gotta give a shout out to Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. We got some new Halloween flavors out, so you can go check those out, and don't forget to use code CART. That's CART at checkout for 15% off of your purchase. And I got to thank you for broadcasting this. I know it can get pretty difficult with the trading paints problem we got going on. Everybody's running different numbers.
Yeah, certainly is. Blake, well done on the win, and hopefully we see you in the Pro Late Models coming up in a moment.
Thank you.
There we go. Blake Chapman home in first place with the modified portion of the night. We're not done with just yet. We've still got Pro Late Models to come. So with that being said, we'll take this opportunity right now to step aside here on Ultimate Dirt TV and step aside here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We'll play some ads, pay some bills, and come back with your pro late models live from the Kern County Raceway Park. You're watching the Coast to Coast Racing Network's coverage of night number 5 of the Abandoned Cat Charity Rescue Week Summer Season, week number 13.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
For Lucy Olsen, she has her first point. Yeah, Lucy Olsen, talented sophomore.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racing enthusiasts all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. The car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and racing teams. Our skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly racing series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 200,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams, race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12-Hour. Participate in solo races, championship seasons, and hosted in league events with AI Racing. With a rapidly expanding catalog of 70-plus cars and 85-plus tracks from real-world racing series, test your abilities with challenging computer-based competition. Additional partners include IMSA, the World of Outlaws, and Supercars, allowing members to participate in their very own Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, Sebring 12-Hour, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
And back live here on Ultimate Dirt TV, back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network for night number 5 of the Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week, presented by the Coast to Coast Racing League. Good evening, race fans. Brett Wheeler with you for the call as we get set. We're not too far away from rolling in to qualifying. Again, different format on Charity Week for week number 13 of the summer season, that is. Again, we've just had over the past 12 weeks of competition on Thursday nights, big block modifieds and 358 modifieds. We look forward to bringing the coverage back for the next season starting next week. Live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network and live on Ultimate Dirt TV. Although next week, the first week, I will not be here. I have a baby that is getting delivered on Thursday my time. So by the time we get that done, it could be anywhere between Thursday night, Friday. It all just depends on how quick it can be. But certainly look forward to having your company from week number 2. But again, week number 1 will still be live streamed here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Again, we just wait for Race Control to go through the driver's briefing, and it is done. And it is now time, ladies and gentlemen, to go qualifying. Here from the Kern County Raceway, we will look for qualifying results, and we have just a small field so far tonight. A total of 9 drivers signed into the pit area, and let's take a look at one of the first drivers to make their way onto the racetrack, and hopefully trading paints as well. Hopefully it's going to play ball. It does not look like it's going to be. Well, it might for some, but right now, Brandon Templeton in car number 31. Brandon Templeton is one of the first cars. Again, these drivers have 2 qualifying laps. And then no heat races straight into a 100-lap feature event. Brandon Templeton, quick time with a 13.974. A 13.974. And he will not go quicker. 13.979 for lap number 2. Dean Reynolds on the racetrack in car number 79. The 14.258. A 14.258. Zach Chapman, Brian Dickens on the racetrack. We wait for Cullen Johnston as well. Dean Reynolds, 14.202. Zach Chapman in the number 72. The iRacing.com entry, a 14.649. A 14.649 for Zach Chapman. Second lap will be slower as Brian Dickens in the 122 machine stayed probably top 5 for the most part of that modified race just a few moments ago. For a 14.100, a 14.100. That was fifth quick there for Brian Dickens. Cullen Johnston also on the racetrack in car number 13. Dickens will stay fifth quick. Oh, look at that sexy looking paint scheme. I don't know why that is showing my paint car. No idea why. Again, Trading Paint's just doing its thing on not actually working properly. But Cullen Johnston, ninth, make that eighth quick with a 14.564. A 14.564. So that looks like that will conclude the qualifying session. So your results coming up on screen. Night number 5 of the Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week for your Pro Late Models with the Coast to Coast Racing League live on Ultimate Dirt TV and live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Joseph Grandy goes quick time. Brandon Templeton will be second quick. Then you go back to Kurt Chadson, Jacob Musso, Brian Dickens, your top 5. And let's take a look at your starting grid. They will line up like this. Joseph Grandy on the pole position to the outside of the front row. Brandon Templeton from position number 2. From position number 3 with the 218 of Kurt Schatzer. From 4, the 61 of Jacob Musso. From position number 5 with the 122 of Brian Dickens to the outside, the 79 of Dean Reynolds from 6. From position number 7 with a 513 of Jeffrey Barker from 8. It's the 13, the old Pretty Ponies car. That is Cullen Johnston from 8. And position number 9 with a 72 car of Zach Chapman. So another 100 lap feature event here from the Kern County Raceway Park. We wait for Zach Chapman to make his way onto the racetrack. Then, of course, we get to roll around 2 laps behind the iRacing.com pace truck. So again, appreciate everybody's support here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network and on Ultimate Dirt TV. So who will take out the Pro Late Model portion of the evening? I just need to see if we are having... I need to see if we're having the asphalt race tonight to wrap up what normally is a triple treat. Triple Thursday treat with the Coast to Coast Racing League and live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. So the field rolls away. Zach Chapman did not make the call for the main event, which leaves us with just 8 cars to do battle around the Kern County Raceway Park. Lights are out. Grady and Templeton, along with Schatzer, Musso, Dickens, Reynolds, Barker and Johnston. That's your 8 cars to take to the racetrack. Ready for a start. Off turn number 4, Joseph Grandy will bring us to the drop of the green flag. 100 laps on the board. We are green once again here at the Kern County Raceway Park, and it's going to be Grandy Templeton side by side of the drag race down into turn number 3. Who's going to lead the opening lap? Give it to Joseph Grandy. Oh boy, getting a little crossed up there was Brandon Templeton. We're going to keep trying this one, see if it'll work. I doubt it, but hey, we might as well give it a good hot go. probably going to come up in the middle of the screen. It does. There we go. Again, we'll just try and bring this one up, see if it will work. But right now, Joseph Grandy still holds on to the race lead from Templeton. Then you go back to Schatzer in third. Fourth is Jacob Musso. Brian Dickens runs out the top five. Jeffrey Barker in sixth position. Dean Reynolds seventh. It's about the only time Dean Reynolds is going to go fast in the 56 machine. And then Zach Chapman, well, he did make the call. He may have missed the start. And then Cullen Johnston will finding himself back at this 9-car field. Templeton closing in right now. So no, you might be seeing double, but well, there's only one Joseph Grandy, and that is the 518 out in front. The second 518, that's Brandon Templeton. Schatzer, Musso, Dickens. And I get the feeling right now, as these drivers continue to work around the Kern County Raceway Park, get a lot of these drivers first time visits in the Pro Late Models. How will it all work out and how will it all unfold for these drivers? Is Grandy going to go one better than what he did in the modified race just probably some 20 minutes ago, where he finished as the runner-up? Schatzer, who found himself on the podium as well, finding himself in third position, but it was all Blake Chapman who got the win. Of course, Blake Chapman not backing up here in the Pro Late Models. So you're not seeing a whole lot of racing right now, although Jeffrey Barker in the 513 generally drives the 513, but driving the 218 machine there on screen, trying to track down Brian Dickens for a top 5 position. Meanwhile, back up front, once again, Brandon Templeton closes in there on Joseph Grandy. And just like that, we're already 12 laps into your 100-lap feature event here at the Kern County Raceway Park, a track that is 0.33 of a mile in distance. And you get 4 different configurations. You get the Legends Oval, you get the Dirt Oval, you get the Asphalt, and you get, I think you get the Jumpy trucks. I don't know, you get 4 different configurations. Oval, Legends Oval, Dirt Oval, and like a mini Dirt Oval for, just the track on the infield. Hell yeah, looking forward to running that one later on. Boy, you know what, I might do some hosted races later. No, I'm not going to actually. I'm going to spend some time with the family. Spent all day on the computer yesterday, so we're going to continue to watch Joseph Grandy out in front, Brandon Templeton second, Kurt Schatzer third, fourth is Jacob Musso, fifth is Brian Dickens on screen, Jeffrey Barker in sixth, Dean Reynolds in seventh, eighth is Zach Chapman, ninth is Cullen Johnson. He's on the verge of going a lap down right now from Joseph Grandy, driving the 218 machine and the 518. Cullen Johnson drifted up and caught the wall in the middle of turn number 1 and 2. He let the cars on the lead lap go by him. Well, he's stuck in the wall once again. Hopefully all the cars are going to go by him. Kurt Schatzer. Oh, problems for Kurt Schatzer. Something going amiss on the 218 machine. I'm going to say maybe a VR issue or a steering wheel issue. So that will put Kurt Schatzer back in the pits. He is actually out of the event. So tough break there for Kurt Schatzer. Templeton again closing in on the back of the rear bumper of Joseph Grandy for the race lead. And it is still Joseph Grandy. Again, he has been the man to lead this field so far in what has been 21 laps complete and all under the green flag conditions. Can he still get the job done? Can he put the 518 machine on the top step of the podium? Will Brandon Templeton, will he have something to say about this one? Only time will tell, but we're still a little over 3/4 of the race left to run. track not quite as slick as what it was in the big box. Again, they continue to put laps off. Just the 6 cars left on the racetrack. Dean Reynolds just on the outside of a top 5. Jeffrey Barker on screen. There is Brian Dickens in the number 122 machine. So we're now gone past quarter race distance in what is 26 down and 74 to go. Dickens and Jeffrey Barker. Oh, Dickens smacked the wall in the back straightaway. Problems broken right front. Yeah, right front is off that race car. He's running the Bluetooth one. So Brian Dickens, he will go to the infield of the Mini Legends on the Legends Oval. So he will go back to the pits, and well, that will put just now 5 cars. So Cullen Johnston, he hit the wall on about the 18, 19, 20 lap mark, somewhere around there. Kurt Schatzer, we remember go back, what was about 10 laps ago, where something went amiss on the 218 machine. He went straight towards the wall, and he managed to get that car off the racetrack to not bring up the yellow. Not sure what happened to Zach Chapman for him to pull infield, but then Brian Dickens caught the opening on the back straightaway. And again, that puts another driver out of this event. So 5 cars left. And well, hey, Dean Reynolds, at the moment, buddy, you've got yourself a top 5 position. So Grady continues to lead the way. So we get an aerial shot of the drone view right now. And there is your leader of Joseph Grady. Just working his way and ticking lap by lap off. 1 lap at a time, and runs of 10. So quickest lap for Joseph Grady is a 14.042. His last lap was a 14.546. Jacob Musso, the quickest car on the racetrack on the last lap, there with a 14.534. Cullen Johnston making his way back out onto the racing surface after getting some running repairs done on the number 13 machine. Jacob Musso, boy, I tell you what, he's coming right now. Usually we see him in the 61 machine, but there you can see he's driving the 513 car. That's the old Jeffrey Barker painted up livery. So right now it is still Grady by 0.8 of a second at the moment over Brendan Templeton. Again, they close in the back of Cullen Johnston one more time. Johnston already some 12 laps down. Jay, is that you? Grady once again trying to put a lap down on Cullen Johnston. Hey, send me a message to my phone if you still got my number. I swear I thought it was you. I'm like, where do I know that name from? Send me a message. I'm going to ask something. I've still got the same number if you've got my old one. No, hang on. Let me get touch up on my other screen. So Pro Late Model is closing in right now on 50 laps left to run. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to DM you from mute. I don't want to hear myself. I'm going to whisper you too from my other Twitch channel. I just sent you a DM, bro. So Grandy, a 2-second lead right now, although that closed in very quickly. He lost almost 0.2 of a second. So getting into the high 14-second bracket at the moment for Joseph Grandy. Brandon Templeton still on screen. There's Jacob Musso just behind him. So Templeton, the quickest car on the racetrack. Jeffrey Barker in 4th position. 5th is Dean Reynolds. Cullen Johnston again finding his way back to the pits out of the event. And Joseph Grandy, he's got, again, a 2-second lead as we're now 3 laps away from half race distance. A track that has been out for just a couple of days, the Kern County Raceway Park. 4 different configurations. You got the oval, Legends Oval. You've got the dirt oval and the mini one on the infield there. You can see just at the bottom of your screen. And then you've got the track that they're racing on at the moment. Cheers, Jay. I'll send you a message. I'll reply back to that in a minute. And it is Grandy again to lead the way. And at the completion of this lap, it'll be halfway home. 50 down and 50 to go. Hey Butch, are you still around? I'm sorry to say, but I think the Chiefs are going to tear up the line. Sorry. Challenge for second and third going on right now. Jacob Musso has made the pass on Brandon Templeton. So Jacob Musso, again, now he's been the quickest car over the last probably 2 or 3 laps. He was turning similar lap times to what your race leader has done. And again, your top 3, in fact 4 out of the 5 drivers were 14.7s there on the previous lap. It was Jeffrey Buck with a 14.802. And boy, you can almost say all these drivers right now are similar when it comes to car speed. Grandy still out in front, but Templeton and Musso in the 5.13. Templeton in the 5.18 machine. Musso still holds on to the runner-up position after getting by Brandon Templeton for that runner-up spot some 5, 6, maybe 7 laps to go. But now he finds himself 2.5 seconds. In fact, it goes up to nearly 3, goes up to a little over 3 seconds behind your race leader of Joseph Grandy. And Grandy, at the moment, showing this field how it is done here in a Pro Late Model. Jacob Musso back in 2nd position. Brandon Templeton 3rd. Jeffrey Barker 4th. Dean Reynolds going to round out the top 5. Can we put another lap into the history books here at the newly appointed Kern County Raceway Park? Musso cut it down to the inside. Upstairs was Brandon Templeton. They were on different lines on the entry down into turn number 3. Once again, Templeton trying to keep it in the moisture right above the slick line. Musso down low once again, down into 1 and 2. And again, you're looking at just 1 car length separating Jacob Musso and Brandon Templeton for the driver sitting in 2nd and 3rd position. Jeffrey Barker 4th. Dean Reynolds rounds out your top 5, although it is still Joseph Grandy out in front. 60 down, 40 to go. Templeton, boy, I tell you what, he's starting to look a little bit threatening right now to Jacob Musso. It's just probably the lack of corner entry speed that is hurting hurting Brandon Templeton at the moment. Although 3 and 4, he looks a whole lot better. Now he gets to the outside. They drag race down into turn number 1 and 2. One more time. Templeton, Musso, wheel to wheel. Templeton's got it on the outside. Brandon Templeton, Jacob Musso to the inside. They make a bit of contact. Oh boy, look out. They keep it going. They back out of it. And they will continue to go side by side. This time give it to Templeton down the back straightaway. Templeton now starting to get this racetrack figured out. But with that being said, they are now looking at a 4-second differential time difference between Joseph Grandy and Brandon Templeton. First and second spot on the racetrack. Musso still back in that third position. Jeffrey Barker in fourth. Dean Reynolds in fifth, not too far away, but tell you what, he is probably a little over a full straightaway right now from... In fact, it is a full straightaway and, let's just call it under half a track. Less than half a track right now between Joseph Grandy and Dean Reynolds. I'm sure Reynolds would love to stay on the lead lap. So we're about to complete 68 laps. And Joseph Grandy, again, still turning lap times in the high 14-second bracket. Is a high 14.7. It's a 14.797. Templeton with a 15.069. Musso with a 14.9 flat. Barker with a 14.994. And Dean Reynolds with a 14.973. Although Grandy's out in front, he was the second slowest car on the previous lap. And again, he's the second slowest car. Templeton, Musso, and Barker, they are still turning lap times in the 14.8s. So Templeton, Grandy's time is starting to drift off just a little bit, and hence he burnt up his tyres way too soon. We've seen it in these big races, especially when the tyre wear was first introduced here on the dirt side of things. I watched Logan Rumsey win a race at Port Royal and JD Brown. They really put on a show. Oh boy, Templeton caught the wall. Slider there from Musso. I'll come back to that story, but it's all about trying to preserve your tyres. Templeton with a slide job back there on Musso into turn number 1. Off at turn number 2. Musso comes back at him now down the back straightaway. Templeton's got it. So a little mistake. Had to work hard to get it back, and that he done. Now again, they can try and figure out a plan of attack to try and run down your race leader. But yes, getting back to the story, watch Logan Rumsey, JD Brown put on a clinic at Port Royal and Eldora Speedway with tyre wear a huge factor in the longer races. And especially when you look at a 75 lap or a 100 lap main event, you can't just go hard from the get-go. Tyre wear certainly plays a huge factor in these races. Dean Reynolds is now back in the pit area, so problems for the 79 machine of Dean Reynolds in the King Race Designs entry. So Grandy with 24 laps to run. Make it 23, so that is 77 green flag laps. We are yet to see the yellow flag come out just yet. And with 4 cars on the racetrack, I don't think that we're going to see it. Again, Grandy, he's got a huge lead, so I guess it's not going to worry him right now that he is the slowest car out of these 4 at the moment. Still 14.9s, although Templeton with a 14.974. Jacob Musso, the exact same time with a 14.974. Jeffrey Barker, 15.029. And now Grandy's starting to find a little bit more speed right now. So there's Jeffrey Barker on screen. There is not a whole lot to deal with for these drivers at the moment. Again, we watch down the front straight away, Templeton and Musso. So with what is now 19 laps left to run for your race leader down into turn number 1. Joseph Grandy. A 4-second lead. Although I got to say, Brandon Templeton, the last lap he closed by 0.2 of a second. If he can continue to run down those times, that is really going to make it interesting right now for Brandon Templeton and Joseph Grandy. Has he got enough left in the tank to run him down? And then has he got enough in the tank to get by him? But the first things first, he's got to catch him before he thinks about trying to win this race. That is the gap just there. You've seen the race leader go on by into your screen. Now short of a 4-second gap, so he's really closed in lap after lap. Brandon Templeton, Joseph Grandy. Why are we live there? Yeah, we're still live on my end, so we'll keep it going. It is still Grandy from Templeton, Musso and Barker for the four cars on the racetrack. Musso there on screen. Although piloting the 513 machine, again, these drivers just doing something a little different right now. There we go, we're back live here, back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Jeffrey Barker, there he is, showing us a 218 machine. So again, another lap into the books. And what is now 11 laps to go at the end of the next completed lap for Joseph Grandy. It is still a 4-second gap, but now we start to pick things up once again. Remember, you go back 30, 40 laps ago, there were times in the 14.6s, 14.7s. Some drivers still in the 14.8s. Joseph Grandy, last lap time of the 14.850. That lap time just then, as he works past the start-finish line of 14.846. Brandon Templeton with a 14.836. Jacob Musso with a 15.038, and Jeffrey Barker with a 15.353. So Barker on the verge of being put a lap down, although with 8 laps left to run, he may not have enough time to get to the Grandy. May not have enough time to get to the back of Barker and pass him. Working on 7 to go for your race leader on screen. Make it 6 to run. Kern County Raceway Park, Bakersfield, California, the newest track to drop on the racing.com service, and we appreciate racing for what they do and what they give us on a platform and to showcase the world of esports. The cars might be virtual, but I'll tell you what, the racing is real as it gets. Tempers flare. People drive way over their head. People drive smart. And some drivers really show their racecraft, especially on these long races. Right now, Joseph Grandy is 3.5 laps away from half race distance. Jeffrey Barker, he's on the verge of being put a lap down. He makes a little mistake into turns 1 and 2. Now he will go a lap down in 4th position. So Grandy goes on by the lap car. A 1.2 second differential between Brandon Templeton and Jacob Musso for 2nd and 3rd position. But the popsicle sticks are out. 2 laps left to run here at the Kern County Raceway Park. And Joseph Grandy down into 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. We'll see the white flag wave. 1 lap left to run here at the Kern County Raceway Park for the final time. Night number 5, the Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week for summer season. Week number 13 into 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flag is out. A race that goes flag to flag. Green to checker all the way. Joseph Grandy gets the win. Brandon Templeton home in 2nd. 3rd will be Jacob Musso. 4th is going to be Jeffrey Barker. 5th is going to be Dean Reynolds. And your top 3 will get to park it on the front straightaway. Let's take a look at those official results right now coming up on screen. Just to make it official, Joseph Grandy, Brandon Templeton, Jacob Musso, Jeffrey Barker, Dean Reynolds, Cullen Johnston, Brian Dickens, Zach Chapman and Kurt Schatzer, your 9 drivers for night number 5 of the Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week for summer season of week number 13. As we get ready to go trackside, we'll do things just a little differently here. I was going to say we might bring in first and then we'll go 1st, 2nd and 3rd. But it looks like we still might be able to go 3rd, 2nd and 1st if we can get those drivers in there. Heading out instead. Oh, there we go. We've got our third place finisher. It is the 61 car of Jacob Musso. Jacob, congratulations on third place finish here tonight. And, well, that 100 lap main event was interesting to say the least, but pretty much the field was pretty much spread out there. But I mean, during the sort of the back end of that race, you had a pretty good battle there with Brandon.
Oh yeah, it was a blast. It's actually a lot of fun to run with those two because they're probably the best late model drivers in coast to coast here. So to actually stay up with Templeton for a little bit was a lot of fun. I learned a lot that race, even though there was only 4 people at the end. But it was actually a lot of fun, and I actually enjoyed the battles there.
How different are they to the big blocks from what you guys just ran around here?
Honestly, it feels like they can run the same line. They actually turn the same, I feel, but you got to be more on the throttle in these to keep them pointed and rotated. Like in the big blocks, you're not supposed to let them settle, and neither do these, but they just feel like these need a little bit more throttle to turn, and they had a lot more grip coming off the corner than the big blocks.
Jacob, well done on third place here tonight at the Kern County Raceway Park for the Pro Late Model portion of the night. Before we let you go, of course, we'll let you thank everybody involved on the 61 machine.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the boys at GKM Racing, Fast A's Hot Rods, Main Street Auto, my mom for watching, even though it was a boring 100 laps there. But you for a great broadcast, and Coast Pros for a great league.
Jacob Musso home in third spot. Home in second spot tonight is the 31 car of Brandon Templeton. Brandon, congratulations on the runner-up finish. And, well, I guess you'll have to settle for a second place here in the Pro Late Models. How was that one after 100 completed green flag laps?
Well, I'm wore out, that's for sure. We needed a break or something like halftime maybe next time. That was pretty cool to go 100 laps green.
With a shortened field, I'll say that. Were you expected to maybe have at least 1 or 2 yellows in that field, or did you know that the guys that were in here were always going to be, respectful and clean enough to go that 100 lap distance?
I definitely thought there'd be 1 or 2 just from guys, getting damaged, or 100 laps is a long time to hit the slick in the wrong spot or something and get in trouble. But the guys did a great job. The guys were out there. Everyone ran it pretty clean. It was really a tire conservation and just kind of keep the car going and try to save it for the most part. But no, Joseph had a hell of a race. I didn't have anything for him. He pulled away, and that was the end of it.
Brandon, congratulations on the run-up finish here tonight in the Pro Late Model portion of the 5th night of the Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week for the Coast to Coast Racing League. Before we let you go, of course, we'll let you thank everybody involved on this 31 machine.
I got to thank the Dirt Track Bank, Got Your Six Racing Network, Hammer Down Racing Team, Joe Curtin, Brian, Stream Images, Maley's Makery, Big C's Lawn Care, you for doing the stream and the Adopt a Cat thing. Make sure everyone put a little extra $5 or something into that, and it's a good cause, so everyone support it, and thanks for coming out and racing with the league.
Brandon, we'll see you back next week for the opener of the Coast to Coast Racing League.
Yep, I believe so.
Brandon Templeton home in second spot, home in first place tonight, and well, he's led from start to finish. It is the 518 machine of Joseph Grady. Joseph, congratulations on going to victory lane, and Paul, you put the 518 machine on the top step of the podium. You must be happy with that one.
Yeah, wish there were more people in the race, but I was putting around probably quarter throttle the first 80 laps. I saw that I wasn't really losing any time, gaining a little bit, and just kept it straight, kept it smooth, and that's about it.
Mate, with only just shy of 10 drivers, you had 9 cars take to the racetrack for this green flag. The track wasn't all that slick to start off with. Were you surprised at sort of how slick the racetrack got after 100 laps?
Not really, because 100 laps with anything, whether it's 5 cars, 10 cars, it's a lot of laps on a track. So, but I wish it got completely slicked off. To be honest with you, that's what I enjoy racing on.
Well, I'll tell you what, Joseph, well done on the win here tonight at the Kern County Raceway Park, the Pro Late Model portion of the night. Again, night number 5 of your Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week for summer season, week number 13. Joseph, we'll let you thank everybody involved on this 518 machine for getting you here into victory lane.
Yep, like to thank again Catalytic Recovery, West End Tone and Repair, all the guys over at Inferno Motorsports, my beautiful girlfriend Olivia, appreciate you for doing the broadcast, Coast to Coast, all their sponsors, and all the guys behind the scenes that make the league run every day.
Joseph Wood on the win. We'll see you back next week for the season opener.
Thanks.
There we go, Joseph Grandy, your winner here tonight from the Kern County Raceway Park. And, of course, that will wrap up what is race number 2 of night number 5 of the Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week for summer season week number 13. We've still got the NASCAR Next Gen Cup Series. I believe we've got Travis Pierfield on that one. So, with that being said, we're just waiting for Travis to get into the booth. Once he gets into the booth, I think we can only just wait and see what happens and how this all plays out. But for now, I want to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to mute up. I'm going to play a few commercials. And once we come back, or once the commercials are done, once Travis is here, we will send it over to him and we'll get you ready for the NASCAR Next Gen Cup Series live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Night number 5 of the Abandoned Cat Rescue Charity Week. But for myself on Ultimate Dirt TV, I'm Brett Wheeler, signing off, saying goodbye. We'll see you. I will see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
For Lucy Olson, she has her first point. Yeah, Lucy Olson, talented sophomore.